is our second multiplication homework, and we're starting off with still doing our double digit by a single digit. Just keep practicing that pattern and back to getting into some double digit by double digit. So if I start with 41 times 5, once again, I'm going to multiply 5 by each of the numbers in the problem. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 205. If I have 23 times 6, I'm multiplying 6 by both the numbers in the top. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So when we get into our double digits, this first step doesn't change. We will always multiply our number in the ones place by both the digits on the top. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19, so we get 192. That's why it's important to have this first step nailed down so that we have the first step when we get to complicated problems nailed down. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 1 is 28. And then on these bottom two, even though I'm adding another digit, the process is still the same. I'm multiplying 3 by everything in the top. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry my 1. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. And I have to carry again because there's still another number. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we end up with 795. And number 6, 418 times 4. I'm going to multiply this 4 by everything. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry my 3. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. There's nothing to carry. 4 times 4 is 16. So now as we move on to the back, we are getting into these double digit numbers. And if you notice, the first one is done for us. And if I look at it a step at a time, I can see that I'm going to start with 32 times, or 28 times 4. I'm going to cross this out for now, just so I can see where I'm at. So I have 4 times 8 is 32. We wrote our 2 and carried our 3. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. Like I said on the front, that first step doesn't change. What becomes different then is the second step. So now that I'm done with a 4, I'm going to cross it off, and I'm also going to put a line through that so I don't get confused on what I carried. This is a 1, but because it's in this place value spot, it's worth 10. So I add the 0 to bump everything up to the tens place. And then I simply do that same step again. Remember how I said it's not a different step, we just added the 0. And now I'm going to do 28 times 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. And then I have two parts of my answer. Add them up to get the real answer, which is 392. Okay, let's try it together. We have 34 times 15. I'm going to start by ignoring the 1 and just doing 34 times 5 like we did on the front. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Now that I'm done with the 5, I'm going to cross my 5 off, cross my 2 off, and I'm going to add that 0 to go into the tens place. Now I have the problem 34 times 1. So I'm going to multiply each number by 1, starting with this ones place down here. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. And because I have all my parts, I can now add them together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 4 is 11. And 3 plus 1 plus 1 is 5. So we end up with 510. Okay. We're going to keep practicing with another one. I have 23 times 21. And my first step is just what we've been doing. I'm going to ignore the 2 right here, and I'm just going to do 23 times 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I'm done with the 1, and I didn't have to carry, so I didn't mark anything there. Since I'm done with my ones place, I put my 0, and now I multiply my tens place. So everything, 23 times 2, starting with this ones place. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. And last but not least, I'm going to add up answers. 3 plus 0 is 3. 2 plus 6 is 8. So I end up with 483. Okay, let's look at the next one. I have 45 times 23. My first step was multiply the number in the ones place. So 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Then when I finish that, I cross off what I've already used and I add my 0. Then I multiply everything by this 2 in the tens place. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And then I add up my answer. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 0 is 3. 9 plus 1 is 10. So I end up with 1,035. We will be continuing to practice this a little bit more in class, but it's the same strategy just over and over again.